Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Natalie Beauchamp. Welcome to today's show, Empowering Women in Chiropractic. Thank you so much to ChiroSecure for organizing these shows for us practitioners to stay connected and stay fresh. And talking about fresh, this is my topic today. Is it time to freshen up your patient experience when it comes to your day one, day two, and day three? So for me, I do this little exercise every so often, and being in practice for as long as I have, I think it's important that we keep things fresh and then we review our procedure. So I'm going to share with you what I've been doing recently and the questions that I'm asking myself even now of my process. So I'd like to cover today how to leverage the wow factor so we can stand out from the other chiropractic clinics or from any other clinics, because I think there's a huge opportunity to stand out in the natural health world because of the standard of the typical medical practice. I also want to cover how I try to educate my patients within a system so it doesn't require a lot of my time. I'm all about creating something once and then leveraging it many times over, and also how to give patients access to tools that they can use on their own and creating system to do so. So I put this lovely picture of spring cleaning, and to me this is this time of year, I feel like doing this in my home and my clinic. So let's go over our patient experience, with a fresh set of eyes. So how to leverage the wow factor? I think there's many things that we need to ask ourselves. First of all, our website. I know I redid my website 2020, had more time on my hands, so figured, let's refresh. So is your website looking old and tired and doesn't have the fresh look that you would like? Because our image starts online when people are looking up chiropractors, and I think it's really important that it looks like it's new, that it's been updated, and it looks recent. People are truly searching now and researching their practitioners to make sure that they connect with them. So make sure that they have everything to get a true picture of who you are and what your practice is all about. Reviewing, your scripts. I call it the A to Z procedure with scripts with the team over the phone. How easy is it for people to book? I know that I've had online bookings for, my goodness, 8-9 years now, even before it was connected to my EMR. But it was so important to me that someone could, on a Sunday night, send an email at least to start the booking process, and then make sure that it's easy for them to do so. Another key thing to make the experience of day one really easy, online forms. So if a patient can be sent the forms ahead. Now, everybody is in different states, different country in my case. So make sure that your forms are HIPAA compliant and so forth. Maybe your EMR already has that. We all use different, systems and have different rules and regulations. So make sure that obviously you conform with that. But just having that efficiency for people, that when they come in, everything's already done and the staff is ready for them. Plus, it gives them that extra commitment that if they took the time to fill out a new patient questionnaires, they're more likely to really be committed and show up for the appointment. Also, I'm a big fan of sitting in my own waiting room, and that's the next point, and looking at everything, looking at the perception and of the patients when they walk in. And for us living in a country where it gets mighty cold and full of salt in the winter, I do that as often as I can because it's easy for a clinic to get messy and the walls to be scratched and so forth. So when people are coming in, do they see, or does your clinic give the feeling of the place, a vibrant place and a place that people want to be? Office door is also to me super important for, not let's say a grand tour right down to the bathroom here, but just for people to know how you do things and what other practitioners or services that you may have in your office. Now, one of the picture that you see here is something that also I've done, I guess, a year or two ago. Really honed in or zoomed in our clinic values and mission and vision, and I did it with the theme of "We Believe," and I have this in all of my rooms, even down to the bathrooms, actually, because I want people, when they're waiting for me, to have something to read that is empowering. And again, every time maybe they read a paragraph, but every paragraph to me tells them more about what we stand for. They want, obviously, your team to make sure that they're expecting, let's say, a new patient, and they know their name, the forms are ready, and they, make them feel special. So that's something that I think is super important. What else could you do? I know throughout the years I've had like infused water, herbal tea. I used to even have cookie that was, healthier cookies. But whatever else can you have to make it just stand out, to say, oh, I don't have that at the other clinics that I go to. Now, the next 2 years, I've thrown a bit of a wrench into doing all of that stuff. But I know personally, I've started back integrating those because they're a great feature. If a new patient is sitting down and waiting maybe for not very long, but at least if you can offer a cup of tea. So to me, this is all the little extra that hopefully can make a patient feel even more welcome. Then when it comes to day 2, and I realize, everybody has their different procedure. I'm just sharing mine with you. Obviously, if day 2, day 3 doesn't make sense to you, you do everything on the second day, perfect. But these are, I think, all the steps that we should have, we should review on a regular basis. So welcome back. Obviously, again, expecting the person. And I schedule my doctor's report at non-adjustment hours. I find that I'm more focused, I'm more fresh. And this way, if I run a little bit longer, then I'm not stressed that I'm going to fall behind with my regular adjustment. And that strategy has really paid off well for me. I do it at the start of my day before I start my adjustment, and at the end of the day. So this way, we're expecting to spend more time and have the time that's required to spend answering the patient's question. I do use a doctor's report video link. I used to do the in-house doctor's report, but I guess several years ago, I leveraged that, recorded it, and I'm giving that to patient to watch as well. And I pre-frame it that, it's really important to me that they understand their results. And in this video, and I have it down to about 20 minutes, that I will explain the scans, the x-rays, the nervous system, and so forth. And people really appreciate the information, and obviously they understand their results more efficiently. Now, modern report of finding, this is the one that I use. It's branded or co-branded with CLA because I do use the inside subluxation. So it's nice. We call it with my staff, if you ask my staff, where's the purple folder for such patient, they'll know, that the purple folder is the report of finding. So in there, you can integrate different handouts, again, depending on the practice or the type of practice that you have. But I have a nervous system chart, subluxation chart. I have an X-ray, phases of degeneration. I have the heart rate variability explanation because that's a tool that I use quite a bit. And obviously the patient's X-ray findings. Again, some people have gone digital with that kind of stuff. I'm still kind of the old school with a folder like this, and I think people appreciate leaving with this piece of information because it's all their results. I like to do a knee-to-knee kind of report of findings, so that means me sitting on the chiropractic table with them and reviewing their results. Also, clear expectation of the D2, meaning I'm going to welcome back the patients and say, today I'd like to go over the results, and then we'll give you your first adjustment. And also in my video, I do say that I don't make my recommendation on that set visit, because I like to have a little bit more insight on how their body is going to hold their adjustment. And I've done it throughout the years, combining those two. And for me, that's what works better. I'm also going to pre-frame the chiropractic adjustment, and I do that in the video as well, with the technique and what they should expect. Are they going to be sore, not sore? I play all of these scenarios, and I really try. And sometimes, it's easy for us to get chatting to get to know our patients better. I know I do, but I really try to make the chiropractic adjustment a sacred time that I don't talk, and I really focus on that. And then leaving the patient with clear next steps. So they're going to go back to the front, they're going to book their next appointment, and at this point I will go over my recommendation. And again, those are still at specific times, because I want to make sure that I have all the time that I need to make sure that I'm answering patients' questions and figuring out their care plan. Another huge important aspect too is an excited team member at checkout. And I hired a lot of university students that are studying in health, and one particularly right now that's been with us for 4 years. She's so outgoing, and she would ask patients on their way, how was your adjustment? And I'm like, at first I was kind of looking at her and said, well, why would you ask that? But she literally means, so well, because she's excited about it, and that kind of energy really, really, really transpires. So I think it's important that we let our staff be who they are, and really they're excited about being in your office anyway, so let them share that with others. The day number 3, this is where I use a choice of care form that I ask patients what type of care would they like, symptomatic, corrective, wellness. The only reason I do this is to know where their headspace is, and to know what their expectations are. I've done this for many years, and it's been a great question to ask, because I can have a better idea of what the patient expects or wants, and then I can adjust my communication with what their needs are. Clear option for a case based on obviously my recommendation and what they want. I have it down to kind of a recap of what I explained in the purple folder, with their major complaints. And another one that I really like to ask as a question on day 1 is, if you had a magic wand, what 3 things would you like to improve? And I find that I'm getting a lot of other information. It could be gut issue, they're not sleeping, because I find a lot of time people come in, they think we're back pain or neck pain, and they don't think that these other things are relevant. So I like to integrate that. And also care plan, again, so our recommendations, again, I know everyone's different. Some people are paying per visit, some people have small plans, bigger plans, we're all different. But I think right now what I'm doing, I'm even revamping my care plan to make it a little bit more concise, and also let people know what else I can help them with when it comes to their lifestyle. And then and that's kind of the other benefits that, if they don't know you have access to all this, or they have access to all this in terms of education, and again, every practice is different, they're not going to know that you have that. And I always joke, because I've written a book that's 650 pages, and I point to it and I say, I've written this big book, and I want to share information with my patients on what's relevant to them, but I also don't want to overwhelm the heck out of you. So let me know what you need from me, and we can continue the discussion. And then booking after the recommendation as a D4. And what that means is it's kind of a code for my staff to know this patient is newer in the office. We need to let them know the flow. We need to, make sure that their care plan is well organized or whatever they have decided. So I find doing that as opposed to just squeezing them in the adjustment schedule can make a big difference. And then obviously then the certainty of your team when the patient checks out, that they understand your care plan, that they have the right mindset and a supportive mindset as well. So that's day 1, day 2, day 3. So how to give patient access to the tools and products that they want. Because one thing that I've learned, people are going to buy vitamins somewhere else. They are going to go other places to seek your service, seek other services. So having implemented many different things into practice, I want to make sure that, like I said, I'm all about creating once and then using it in many different things. So what else do they need? Well, in the last year, I've also written this smaller book called Fired Up and Feeling Great. And what I said to myself, I said, okay, what am I repeating often with patients? So I have some stuff on nutrition, ergonomics, fitness or exercise, vitamins, sleep, and breath work. It's also very strong on the spine, the nervous system, and so forth. But I wanted to have in one book everything. So it talks about beds and pillows, all the questions people ask. So my goal was, if I give this to someone, technically they should not have any other questions, or they should have all the tools that they need. And then making it a game also within an app, because I want them to be able to receive the tools. So with the book, they can download an app, and within the app, they can download, I call them protocols, but nutrition basic protocol or foundational protocol, vitamin, core and posterior chain exercise, breath work, and sleep. And also guiding them to write us a Google review. So I'm literally in the middle of launching that right now. So that's kind of my spring cleaning and reorganizing, and it feels good to be able to revamp some of our procedure to integrate that in the office. How to educate your patient by means of technology and automation. Couple of things that I do: doctor's report, I've already mentioned, and also another report when people finish their wellness care plan, why continue care, all the benefits of getting adjusted on a regular basis. Chiropractic lifestyle educational email and campaign. I'm already doing this, but now I'll be integrating more what's in the book as well. I've also have campaign on health related issues. So for gut health or hormones or stress management, just because I have, lots of content to share with people. I also have a good nutritional app that I use if people are really ready, let's say, to do work on their gut and they want an elimination diet. Boom, I send them to the app, or I trigger the app, and they have all of the information, and I don't have to do anything. When it comes to exercise, I'm using a platform where I gather a whole bunch of different video. Again, it's free, and I put it in themes. So when people would ask me, do you have exercise to give me? And sometimes, I'm thinking, by golly, you're 50 years old, hopefully you know how to exercise, but obviously if they're asking, they're not sure. So I compile a series of video to focus on specific things. And then again, they just log in and all the information is there. I don't have to do anything with it. And the last one is obviously what I just mentioned with the clinic and book app. And I found a way to do an app that's quite simple. It doesn't actually even require you to go through the app store. They just save it on their phone, their main screen. So it's great, and we're really excited to launch that. And then in terms of technologies that I use, obviously hosting videos on either Vimeo or YouTube. Infusionsoft is the platform that I use. And I guess now it's called Keep. I use JotForm as well for many purpose. And I think every office should have a Canva account. It's amazing what we can do ourselves. And especially if you have maybe a little bit more artistic people on your team, they really may embrace and have fun doing this. You can do, MP4s, animated videos with some graphics now. I mean, it's amazing what you can do. Supplement wise, I'm a big fan of Design for Health. So I use one of their platform. I also use Fullscript. And then when it comes to my membership sites, I use Member Vault, and I also use ClickFunnels as well. So those are just a few of the tools that I use for me to leverage everything. So I know it might sound like it's a lot, but like I said, you create it once and then you just put it in your system with your staff of when this patient is going to be triggered in what campaign. And you can really customize it and support a patient's need. And, like I tell you, those main complaints and the magic wand can really open up huge conversation. And people more than ever are looking for advice. They're happy that they're, talking to someone that cares, someone that is accessible as well, because the last few years have been challenging for many. So hopefully you found this interesting and that it has inspired you as well to look back and say, okay, it's spring. I need something new in the office. I need something fresh. What can I do to clean things up? And you can, throughout the years, I've involved my staff with this to say, okay, guys, let's pick the clinic apart. What about this? What about this? And I find what it does is that, before a mark on the wall or a piece of paper misplaced, they would not even see it. But once you present it to them that way and you go, okay, let's pick the clinic apart of what we could do better to have a better experience, it can be a fun activity to do with your staff as well. So next week, or the next show with Empowering Women in Chiropractic, is going to be with Dr. Nicole Lindsay. Hopefully you enjoy, and it got you excited to clean up your clinic process a little bit and spice them up with things that are going to be beneficial for your patients. My name is Dr. Natalie Beauchamp. This was ChiroSecure, Empowering Women in Chiropractic. Thank you.
Join us each week as we bring you the best in business growth, practice management, social media marketing, networking, leadership, and lots more. If it's about women in practice and business, you'll hear it here. We hope you enjoyed this week's Facebook Live event. Please like us on Facebook, comment, and share. We look forward to seeing all of you next week for another episode of Empowering Women in Chiropractic. Now, go ahead and hit the share button and tell your friends and colleagues about the show. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. This has been a ChiroSecure production.